But we were circling back to the Heliod deck today. Last time we played this on stream, we were 12-3, feeling really good about the archetype. The big difference is we were playing Lay Down Arms, the Plains-based removal spell, over Lightning Bolt. I think I'm interested in playing Bolt instead. I mean, obviously, I'm playing them here. I think that it doesn't matter a ton which one-mana removal spell you play, but Bolt gives you, like, a much, much better, like, aggro, burn your opponent out game plan. It's also an instant speed removal spell against, like, specifically Ragavan is really nice. Can be relevant against Hammer Time too, although Lay Down Arms is really good against Hammer as well. But again, I do think you need a one-mana removal spell to get your Ragavans through. And this is something, I know this is kind of boring, but Ragavan, I think Ragavan is at its best in this deck compared to, like, every single other Ragavan deck. Maybe it's a little bit better in Murktide. That might not even be true, where in this deck you could tutor it with Ranger-Captain. You can play it on turn 1. If it dies, you could recommission it. You can play it on turn 1. You can play Luminarch Aspirant to buff it. You have Giver of Runes to protect your Ragavan. You have 8 removal spells to clear the way. You have Idyllic Grange to buff it. The card is like... the card is very good in the shell. Card is very, very good in the shell. And I was really happy with the red splash for Ragavan, Blood Moon, Wear Tear. I was happy with the 23rd land, which was a change we had made the last time we played the deck compared to before Brothers War. Still really liking Recommission. Yeah, I think I want to play Bolt over Lay Down Arms. But again, like, you can play Oust, you can play Lay Down Arms, you can play Bolt, you can play Prismatic Ending. I think that you can play a lot of different things in that slot. But again, what I like about Lightning Bolt is, like, your beatdown, your aggro game plan becomes a lot more viable. Takes notes. Ragavan is good. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit less reductive than that, where, like, Ragavan is a card I don't like in Prowess. Ragavan is a card I don't like in Food. Ragavan is a card that you need. It doesn't have that many deck building restrictions, but it's a card that you do need to, like, have removal for. You need to have some protection for it. You have a game plan that works with Ragavan. Not every deck works with Ragavan super well. I think on the draw we can keep this. It is kind of nice to going back to... I mean, this is a combo deck, but I've been playing a lot of, like, high synergy decks that have to mulligan some lands and spells hands. And you need to play red. Playing red is a big cost for Ragavan, I suppose. The red splash too for, like, specifically Blood Moon is, like, really important in the sideboard, and the Wear Tears are nice. Right, let's skip this. See if Lightning Bolt is immediately better or worse than Lay Down Arms. Lightning Bolt's, like, decline in Modern is a really interesting topic to me, where there was definitely a time where if you were playing red, it was just a no-brainer. Obviously, you're going to play 4 copies of Lightning Bolt, and it changed a few years ago. I do think it's good that, like, you don't have cards like that really. Well, you do still, but cards just don't, they're not mandatory 4-ofs in your colors. Blue Ragavan would be banned instantly. Blue Ragavan would be a pretty bad color pie break. I don't really expect they'd ever print a Blue Ragavan. Would be banned instantly. I'm not sure that it would be necessarily better than Red Ragavan. All right, I do feel pretty bad about keeping a 4-land hand and then immediately drawing 2 lands. That's absolutely not what I wanted to have happen here. Yeah, pre-ban like grief, huh? When they banned Faithless Looting? Well, I think Bolt was, like, not that good before Faithless Looting being banned, right? Where, like, Bolt was not that good against, like, the Hollow One, Arc-like Phoenix, Thing in the Eyes, Vengevine, Dredge metagame. Like, it's all play, but it wasn't, like, a mandatory 4-of. Like, I don't even think you played it in Hollow One, but maybe I'm misremembering that. Alright, we need to draw some spells. I miss Thing. Why is it poorly positioned? It's okay against some decks. It's kind of a combination of a few different things. It's kind of a combination of a few different things. Dang it. Well, what can I say? What can I say? Ragavan would not be a break in blue. Both treasure generation stealing stuff from opponent's blue at the rate. Yeah. I'm saying a 1-mana 2/1 in blue is a color pie break. Do we need to cut lands? I mean, I was pretty happy with the 23rd land before. Main deck Spell Pierce. It feels so bad to get got by Spell Pierce in this position. Okay, well, we're probably just gonna die, and that's okay. That happens when you keep 4 landers. You rip 3 lands at the top. A 1-mana 2/1 with any additional text is an MTG break. I think I largely disagree with that. Ragavan is not a well-designed card. But I think you can print 1-mana 2/1s in white and red without it being a break. With, like, you know, additional abilities. Ragavan does too much. Ragavan does too much. I don't this is not really something I think is a very hot take. Alright. Let's go to game 2. That's okay. I'm gonna bring in the Wear Tears. I'm gonna bring in the Giant Killer. I've been cutting the recommissions in this matchup, and I think that's fine. This has been a matchup I've liked, where, you know, Solitude deck, we have Wear Tear on the board, and, like, our combo is pretty hard for them to interact with. I'm trying to think if I want any amount of Blood Moons. I kind of feel like Blood Moon on the play is okay. I think I may be interested in, like, I'm definitely interested in the first one. I don't know if I want 2. I think I want to go down, like, 2 Sentinels, maybe down to 1 Sentinel, 2 Blood Moon on the draw. We can go down to, like, down a Moon, up a Sentinel, or something like that. I think I have too many 1-mana spells to bring in Chalice in this matchup. You mostly just want to play this on 0 against Cascade. Yeah, Ragavan definitely, Ragavan, I really think, like, it probably just it either shouldn't have had dash, it shouldn't have made a treasure, or it shouldn't let you cast your opponent's spell. I think, like, any one of those things being off the card, it's way reasonable. I think Urza Saga shouldn't have made a second token. Urza Saga shouldn't have made a second token, and I think it's possible that, like, Fury should have cost, like, 6 mana, or Fury should have been, like, a 2/2 instead, but I think Solitude is fine. Could maybe have made it a 2/1. But I feel more strongly about Ragavan and Saga being, like, a little too pushed. Ragavan's to be good at 1/1. It would be good, yeah, but it would be, like, a lot more balanced at 2/1. Does a blue already have a 1-mana 2/2? I mean, illusions are, like, very explicitly, like, how blue color pie breaks, right? So, like, blue gets, like, efficiently costing creatures in illusions that just die when they're targeted by anything. That's part of their color pie. Like, they get to break the color pie with illusions, specifically. Or just, like, a second ability should be until end of turn. That's kind of interesting. I don't know exactly how you would template it so that it can only make 1 token, but that's maybe, like, just this turn you can make a token, or until the end of your opponent's next turn. This hand's really, really good if we rip a land off the top. Specifically, like, Ragavan into Aspirant on the play against Hammer is great because they just can't really block it, but we have to mulligan. It's Flood into Mana Screw, classic. I'm going to keep this one. I think I'll put back the second Ragavan. Actually, only as a sorcery fixes it. I think it maybe fixes it too much, where, like, I think it would still be, like, pretty balanced if it could activate, like, the first token at instant speed, but... Or if they flip the chapters. So, like, on chapter 2, you get the 1-mana permanent, and then on chapter 3, you make a token. You still have to activate it as a sorcery. Honestly, if you get the thing at chapter 2, that's, like, so nuts in a Titan, though. Fury seems good in this deck with the +1 counters. We're a little low on red cards is the problem, but I guess if you're cutting, like, 4 white cards for 4 Fury up to 12 red cards, maybe that's enough. But if you're playing Fury and Solitude, all of a sudden you also want Ephemerate, and so it's a lot of slots. You would basically just cut the combo at that point. But I've been liking the combo. So, if I draw a white card, I might Solitude. Well, I mean, we could just draw Bolt, too. Just trying to think if this is a trade I want to take. My opponent's likely somewhat land light here. I can draw Luminarch Aspirant. I can Idyllic Grange the Ragavan to make this like a... Yeah, I think I'm just gonna chill. What about Heartless Summoning in an Archon build? I think making Archon of Cruelty cost 6 mana is just not that important. I think that Archon of Cruelty needs to... You'd have to make it cost like 4, so like... Once you get 2 Heartless Summonings in play, it's kind of interesting. But overall, it's not something I'm like particularly excited about, to be honest. Does my opponent have like removal spell here? Please Path to Exile my Ragavan. Maybe they're just holding up Spell Pierce. Oh, I probably should play Sacred Foundry so I could get a second Idyllic Grange. I was just kind of wanting to get 2 planes and play for Blood Moon also. I think I'm just getting my own Giver of Runes. Could get a Ballista. It's kind of close. Let's get Ballista. How do the SNC fetch lands work with Panharmonicon? Do you get 2 lands? I would imagine so. Any current plans to return to Lotus Field? I haven't been messing around with it much lately. You know, decks like Lotus Field, though, that are like, you know, classic decks that we've played a ton, they basically never completely fade away. We see more Vile Elemental soon? Maybe, I don't know. I wasn't planning on playing it today. It's a deck I like. We will play it again at some point. We have a lot of irons in the fire at the moment. Since you're getting laid off for the holidays, sorry to hear it. A lot of layoffs right before the holidays this year, unfortunately. Thank you for the resub. No worries if you have to pause it, you know. Dr. Arson, 29 months, like, thank you. Economy ain't so good. I mean, sure. It's just, you know, it's just really frustrating when, like, when the economy ain't so good. Sorry, guys, gotta lay you off before Christmas when the economy is so good. All right, record profits, no bonuses. Record profits, no bonuses, and it all just goes to the top. It all just goes to the top. Oh, sorry, I just should have obviously played my Sacred Foundry and been able to pay for the Sentinel. Words here, still a good draw. Take a 2 for 2, I suppose. Shame, tap land. Dakota's just thinking, what's my opinion on Heartless Summoning in prime time? I mean, there's probably better ways to get a prime time into play, but those 2 cards work well together. Shame, tap land. Pass back. Yeah, I did see that Harry got his account back. That's really exciting. So this is their draw for turn. If they had a hammer in their hand, if they had an Ornithopter in their hand last turn, they would have played it so they can just get their equip on. Kind of feeling like that giving them a card on Sentinel was pretty costly here. I think Harry lost a lot of his videos. I didn't see like any of them missing, but maybe that is the case. I'm excited that it's at least like back somewhat. We'll see. We'll see how back it is for real. So I can go 2/2 Ballista, counter on Ballista. Kill this. One counter still. Okay. Aspirant is interesting because it's a white card for Solitude, but I could also go Ballista, Aspirant, counter on Ballista every single turn. It's probably a little too slow for this now. So 2/2 Ballista, counter on Ballista, kill Giver of Runes. Keep my Ballista around. Hold up Solitude. I only save audios up to 3 months back. That's a bummer, but like, you know, honestly, those are the most important videos, and like just like some degree of catalog is so important. Just, you know, so people find your video and they can go through more once they find you. Need to kill Giver. Yeah, we need to kill the Giver first. Any thoughts about hardcasting Solitude? I think that the thing is, the problem with hardcasting Solitude this turn is that we don't get to get like either the Sentinel or the Paladin off this turn. And so I think that my plan has got to be like kill 2 things this turn and then top deck well. And so I think it is kind of interesting to try to Solitude the Sentinel and then just like leave them with the Paladin in play. But I think I'm going to instead get rid of the Paladin this turn and then hope to draw another removal spell for the Sentinel, which is only Wear Terror Solitude, I suppose. But I could also, like, you know, chump block for a while, race for a bit. Definitely now with the Stoneforge Mystic getting another hammer, I have to Solitude the Paladin. Or they get a Shadow Spear. Gonna make them cast it obviously first. Why not Ballista and Aspirant? I can't Solitude if I Ballista and Aspirant because I need the Aspirant to pitch. -9 degrees, brutal. Some more of Harry's videos back. That's great. I'm really happy that it ended up working out all right for Harry. Harry's been putting like just so much work into his YouTube lately, and his videos are really, really good. So if you're not following Harry, you should follow Harry. Okay, the Shadow Spirit does mean that we can't be chump blocking forever or anymore, so we have to draw a removal spell right now, and we just draw planes, and we lose. Kind of a tough match. Could have attacked with Ragavan if you Solitude. Yeah, I know. I just like that turn, it was more important to Solitude the Paladin. Like we would have lost that turn if we didn't Solitude the Paladin. So I do think we found the best line. But our draws are a little clunky. We had the mulligan game 2. Flooded game 1. Lands and spells. It has a lot of good top decks. I think I'm going to go to 6. Especially on the play, I want to make a more proactive hand, which this definitely is. Of the combo, if we can get the Ballista with the Ranger Cap. Will I do any Vintage Cube video? Maybe I'll do that for Channel Fireball. I said I was going to do Elemental video this week. Tapeworm 9 months thing, thank you. I don't know. I'll do some Vintage Cube this season, but it's not necessarily where my head or heart is either right now. I think I might hold this Strand. You don't need double red game 1, really, especially when you have no red cards in hand. And I could get this an Idyllic Grange with this. Aris, think that Twitch Prime, appreciate you. Ledger Shredder. Hitting my opponent with Ragavan seems correct. Don't like to mulligan on the play and then have to 2-for-1 myself, so like if this Ragavan does not find me a meaningful card, like an Iteration or a Consider or a Channeler, it's a decent bit worse, but just a Misty. I think I might just grab a Giver of Runes this turn and play it. Could honestly see Sentinel being a little bit better. We'll see. Eris with Prime ticket, thank you. Awesome, Eris. Glad you got the time off. So they have a removal spell. It's going on Ragavan right now. Presumably. We play a 4/4 Murktide. If we draw an Idyllic Grange, then we have really good attacks where we can just put a counter on the old Ranger-Captain. Obviously, we could just pro blue the Ragavan and get it through the Murktide too. Okay, Ragavan, you gotta go to work, okay? You gotta go to work today. Ugh, Ragavan. I think the green white cocoa build still has legs. Not really. I mean, I think this version is great. I've been very impressed with it so far. I played a lot of it. Classic land before iteration. Yeah, I guess just not really. I don't usually like to be that reductive, but like I think Spike Feeder is not that good. I think that where they're bolting a Giver instead of the Ragavan. Okay. Yeah, I think Spike Feeder is not that good. I think that Arbor Elf is not that good. I think that being able to play Giver, Esper Sentinel, Recommission, and have like a much lower mana curve is truly much more important than getting access to Collected Company. So we can hardcast the Solitude with the Ragavan mana. yeah, isn't my opponent supposed to be dead by now? I hit them with Ragavan 3 times. To be fair, we are ahead. Yeah, red-white deck to match the Santa hat. I think playing the Giver is wrong because it can. Now I can't draw Solitude. I can still I can just cast a Solitude. It's also if you don't draw the Solitude, the Giver sitting in the hand is doing nothing. You know. Dude, my okay. I don't. Why are they? They're not killing the Ragavan. I thought this was supposed to have old Death Touch for players. Ooh, a castable spell. I love Esper Sentinel is, you know, just like Ragavan is really, really good in this deck, Sentinel is also sick where you can buff its power with Recommission, Aspirant, and Idyllic Grange. I've really, really liked that so far. Did you ever find the box of hats? Yes, they're not all there though. But I did find them. I know I never set up the hat redemption though. I didn't bring them upstairs. Maybe for Christmas, huh? Okay, my opponent has not blocked. I have 6 damage right here. Let's just go ahead and make that 7. Cool. Mulligan on the play. 2-4 more yourself early is to win. Although my opponent probably didn't play perfectly. I suppose. Feels good though. I have liked this matchup a lot. Is I guess what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I'm gonna bring the Giant Killer, 3 Sanctifiers, 1 Forge-Tender. The card I've been kind of I've done a few different things. I have kind of like just cutting the Heliod combo. I think you could also cut the Aspirants, but also I guess Aspirant actually gets a lot better post board with the pro red creatures. Just being able to like buff your Sanctifier is like so sick. Yeah, let's do this. Did it play perfectly? Seems generous. Well, it's like, you know, commentator talk. Yeah, you gotta respect your opponents. Yeah, my favorite play, Esper Sentinel into Aspirant. I love it. It's just... it feels so good. Okay, Legend Shredder is very good against my mini 1-drop hand. I think I'm gonna let him connive, though. Is today the winter solstice? That's cool. Oh, so yes, last night I went over to my grandpa's. We did a little Christmas with him because he's flying to Atlanta to celebrate with my cousins. And Esther's like, "You should open a present." And I was like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "Yeah." I think she got me this sick watch. I don't know if you can see it. It's oh, let me take it off so you can see it. It's a frog playing the banjo though. I love it. It's perfect. Yeah, I'm trying Bolt over Lay Down Arms. I think it's like very close, but I like that Bolt gives you a much better aggro plan. They kill one of the Givers, and they attack with the Ragavan. I'm probably supposed to trade Forge-Tender for Ragavan here. Could honestly maybe take the hit, but... Oh yeah, sorry, I could have just taken the hit because they don't have any, They don't have the Ragavan trigger. Okay, that being said, I think I will go Ragavan and Recommission and Giver of Runes here. Monkey Knife Fight, 13 months. Thank you. Why doesn't it have a sword? Yeah, so she claims that we were out one night and I wanted a Jade Avenger watch, and I don't know. Maybe I was intoxicated that night. Who's to say? And and then she found this one, which is as close as she could find. The Jade Avenger after he's slayed all of his devils. Post-retirement. I guess we pro-red the Ragavan so they can't like dash Ragavan super effectively. There's a world where I moved to Atlanta. I mean, I have family there. I don't know if that means I'm very likely to move there, though. I had some weird experiences in Atlanta when I was there for the RC recently. I told a few of the stories. I do like Atlanta, though. Atlanta's a nice place. Yeah, we also bought a house, so yeah, forgot about that whole homeowner thing. Okay, not attacking. I guess I probably just want to get a counter on our boy. Really don't want to have my opponent continue to connive. But I'm going to grab this giant killer. I'm going to play the giver. Am I playing go to San Diego for the RC? Not at the moment. This year was like... It was a lot of travel for me at the end, where I went to Portland, and then... I mean, I hosted Andrea, but that was, you know... It was an event, and then I went to Atlanta, I went to Vegas, and it was just a lot. So right now I am just really enjoying being home, and I'm really enjoying not having a lot of places to go right now. And maybe that'll change, but that is I'm just currently chilling, you know. And so like I may get the itch to go to, you know, I've only played like one RCQ for San Diego. I think two. I currently am enjoying being home. But that might change. Okay, chop down. Then it may be better to just play the giant killer than +1 counter on the Ranger-Captain, cast giant killer, attack for 5, leave Giver of Runes up. Seems pretty good. Can I play this deck splashing green for Coco instead of red? You can, and it'll be worse. But you can, because this is, you know, classic Twitch chat. Let's add the hero card. Collected company, baby. Like if you play Coco over Ragavan, presumably, and then I guess you play Skyclave Apparition over Lightning Bolts. I don't know. You're raising that mana curve, baby. You're raising the mana curve for a grindy 4-drop, which is just always what you need. Get that mana curve up. All right, so we're gonna do a lightning bolt actually. Don't think I can sack the Ranger Captain. Maybe I can. It's definitely good against iteration. Yeah, and the thing is, like, Spike Feeder is a really, really weak card, and it is true that Infinite Life doesn't beat Hammer, it does beat Murktide, it does beat Scam, it actually beats Yawgmoth, because they can't deal Infinite, they can deal, like, 200 or something. It doesn't beat Breach if they play Oracle, it does beat them if they play Grape Shot. But it's also, like, very easy to disrupt, and you have to play so many combo cards. What I like about this deck is you only play... Like, Walking Ballista is, like, a pretty good card in the deck with Idyllic Grange, and, in the deck with Idyllic Grange and Luminarch Aspirant, so... Okay, so they pop the explosives, and then they leave the Shredder back. But I can just Ranger Captain for Ragavan and win. And so, like, so Ballista is like just a, or I can also get Ballista. This is the more heroic card to grab. It really feels like there was like not a ton of like work on the archetype after Image 2. People just kind of kept trying like the same shells. But you just gotta play Esper Sentinel. Sentinel's so good, you can buff it. It's great. Up against a Monke. 2 Murktides in a row. We played against no Murktide yesterday when we were playing the like farm Murktide deck. Classic, right? Right, snapping off the block. We should just play the farm everything deck. They haven't unbanned Splinter Twin yet. Oh man, what a glorious day that'll be. Hello, Andy. What a glorious day that'll be. Yeah, they're more powerful with these old border baubles. They look really good. I actually bought I bought a set of foils of these, and they're like really pringly, unfortunately. But I still have my regular ones, I guess. I also bought foil Steel Seekers. I bought foil and non-foil Steel Seekers for the food deck, and thankfully they weren't as pringly. They shredded. Okay, so I think with my 4th land, I'm pretty interested in just getting an Esper Sentinel that could be a 2/2 with the Idyllic Grange. 2/2 Esper Sentinel in this matchup is very good, I think. I can also maybe pitch the Sentinel to Solitude. I would prefer not to, though. Oh, they probably should cast that on their turn for Connive. Unless they have Spell Pierce. Love the art. I'm a bit hater of the old border. Yeah, for me, I love like basically every old border artifact. And I typically like red and blue cards in old border. I don't like I mean, some of the old border white cards are fine, but I think the white looks worse. I think the green looks worse. I think the black is like, I think I like black old border. So it's like white and green old border and multicolored. I don't like. I really dislike the gold multicolored border. I think it looks awful. Six Murktide. I could Solitude now. I think I'm gonna just untap and draw. Okay, so let's go Esper Sentinel, Solitude, Pitch Giver of Runes, exile the Murktide Regent, counter on Esper Sentinel, grab a Ragavan with Ranger Captain. Bought the food deck all foil because of you? Hell yeah. I think my Feasting Troll Kings didn't come in. I've been waiting for them just by the door every day, and they haven't come in yet. Ordered them like a month ago. Should probably call somebody. Oh, I also ordered a new controller. I mean, it's like Christmas time, so like shipping's really rough. But I broke my B button's really sticky, and I'm practicing the Dark Souls no hit run still. And I just need a new controller, and it was supposed to come like on Monday, and it still hasn't come. Opponent with a super likely counterspell here. I guess with a counterspell, I get to draw a card. I like to draw cards. Let me go Ballista on 1 here. They loot away as the Spell Pierce that they, I guess, are holding up on turn 3. Alright, so we'll offer the trade of Oh, sorry, that was a surveil. We'll offer the trade of Ranger-Captain for DRC if they want it. So they have no cards in hand. But they do keep a card on top, so it must be a spell. Just need to keep any spell on top to get the Ledger Shredder power toughness up. Our life total's looking kind of low. We're just dead in 2 turns to these flyers, and it's going to be hard to race. Down to 5. Need a top deck. I need a top of their deck, top deck. I do have Delirium, so I could hit Unholy Heat. Well, I'm not going to correct my fetch so that if I hit Lightning Bolt on the DRC, I'm not dead to the 4 power Shredder here. So hit them for 7. That would have been a cool out, but we don't have a double blue. Okay. To game 2. I think I still like my sideboard plan a lot. Do you think Steel Seeker and Tamashii is what more seems to work with the combo in Colossus? Yeah, it's only good when you're Tamashii comboing, which you don't need like a 2-mana creature to be in play. And Steel Seeker is just like a lot worse when you don't have the food package. There's a deck tech. Okay, let me scribble up. Thank you, Frieza. Friends food deck. Okay, first thing, Karn the Great Creator is almost never a card you should play 2 copies of. It is almost always going to be a card that you are going to be very built around because it has such a huge sideboard deck building restriction. Karn is not a strong card when you have, you know, just Tormod's Crypt, Haywire Might, Witch's Oven, Stonebrain, Time Sieve, Manufactor. Like, you don't have Liquid Metal Coating in here. You don't have Pithing Needle in here. You don't have Ensnaring Bridge. Like cards that you really need to make Karn like a close to playable card. But the card is also not good in shells like this that don't have mana acceleration into the Karn, where Karn is very, very good in ramp decks because it lets you be super flexible with your mana. So it's a All-Star and Tron. You can play it in Titan. It's good in Devotion. It's good in like Coffers. It's just not a card that you're like wanting to cast for 4 mana in your 20 land deck. So I kind of hate that card. I also don't like how like unfocused this list looks in general. Like I don't like you have 3 Cauldron Familiar, 3 Oven. I know you have the 4th Oven in the sideboard for Karn, but I'm someone that, like, when you're playing these high synergy decks, I don't like to see, like, I've got 2 Deadly Dispute, I have 2 Witherbloom Command. Well, one of these 2 drops is very likely going to be better than the other 2 drop. It's probably Deadly Dispute. But, like why are we playing the first Witherbloom Command before the 4th Deadly Dispute? Unearth is okay in the shell. It's definitely okay. But, like, this is another thing is, like, why are we playing the first Chatterfang before the 4th Manufactor? Manufactor is, you know, obviously they work okay together, but I would rather have the 4th Manufactor before the first Chatterfang. You need to play for Oval Chase Daredevil. It's not negotiable. But like for the most part, like most of the card decisions I see here really look like I want to fit all of these cards in the deck. I want to fit Karn. I want to fit Grist. I want to fit Unearth. I want to fit Deadly Dispute. I want to play Witherbloom. I want to fit Chatterfang. And you're just like cutting like the very, very crucial cards that you need in the deck to make it function. Like you need for sorry, hold on. Fetch here. You need for Witch's Oven, and you need for Cauldron Familiar, and you need for Oval Chase Daredevil, and you need for Finale of Devastation too. Like these cards are just like not negotiable. I don't think that you need Street Wraith. I think that Finale is an Asmo enabler, and it gives you like the bare minimum. Like some Unearths as other discard outlets for Asmo would be nice. I don't think you need these Street Wraiths. I also really, really, really dislike the fact that you're splashing blue for the 1 of Time Sieve in the sideboard. I feel like that makes your mana so much worse. The Time Sieve is so expensive off of just 2 copies of Karn. Like Time Sieve is good in the other shell because it's only 2 mana and you can combo kill really quickly. Like it's so much slower here. Like, in fact, you don't even like necessarily need blue lands for the time save in the yard. Like, you're pretty likely just have a treasure token with your manufactor in this kind of shell. I might want to Solitude this Shredder. No, we can chill. We can just cast Ranger-Captain here. I think I want to get Giant Killer. I guess I don't love that Giant Killer is like telegraphed here, but just like that installation against Murktide, especially when we're like really ahead. We got to draw on the we got 2-for-1, 2-for-1. Recommission finds time sieve and Esper food. Yeah, that's something. You can play Recommission over Unearth. Yeah, Recommission does work with Ballista. So like, I mean, I think you just need to cut the Unearths, you need to cut the Deadly Disputes, you need to cut the Finales, you need to play 4 Witherbloom, you need to play 4 Cauldron Familiar, you need to play 4 Oven. You have like a couple of flex spots. I would probably play the full 4 Goose. And then ultimately, I do also think this version is worse than like the green-red versions. Like, is kind of is maybe like the biggest issue here is that I think this is not the best version. So, those are my thoughts. That's how I would approach building the green-black deck. Good luck to you. I've been playing Magic in 16 months. Am I going to be bamboozled by the meta? 16 months is a really funny number because that was when Modern Horizons 2 came out. I'm currently, I think Modern right now is as good as it's ever been. I think I'm actually living in like my favorite Modern era right now. But it'll be a little bit of a learning curve. Man, 2/2 Esper Sentinel is just so broken. The banning of Yorion was such a good play. It was just like an amazing decision. Still can't play Splinter Twin? I take it all back. Modern trash. Let's just not let them connive. Like, if this gets up to 2-4, it just blocks my Ranger-Captain a bit too well. The failure to ban Rand was such a pun. Everybody's always gonna have. It's modern. This is maybe something. This is something I accepted years ago. That I think maybe everybody would be better if they internalized to. Is that Modern will never be a perfect format. It will always have problems. There will always be issues with it. But if Modern's not perfect, it had better be fun. And I think right now Modern is just really, really fun. Retro Dad, 10 months, thank you. Okay, so let's just go to combat here, I think. If my opponent wants to fetch shock, bolt something, obviously that's really good for us. We could just force the chump block of the Shredder on the Sanctifier, force the block here. Okay, I'm gonna go to game 3. Happy holidays to you too. Hot take: Bobble should have been banned instead of Luris. Bobble is really, really good. There was a while I was in the ban Bobble instead of Luris camp. The problem with banning with that is like Hammer Time just gets Luris. Hammer Time just gets Luris, and oh boy. Dude, Luris was like the most annoying card out of Hammer when it was legal. It was so obnoxious. Okay, this hand's great. Yeah, Scales gets Luris. It just Burn gets Luris for free. Luris was just too broken. It should have gone sooner than it did. Honestly, it should have gone sooner than it did. I think I'm probably not going to bolt twice in the same turn. We have the Nut Draw, Sentinel, the Aspirant. Polaris isn't free and burn. I hope that meme never dies. It's too good. I do like drawing a land here. I'm gonna just get this Shredder off the table, and I don't think I would block a Dash Ragavan here. Yeah, Bobble is really, really good too. Like, you know, 2 cards can both be good at the same time. In fact, that's usually the case, and yeah, I'll just take this hit. That, you know, cards are just, you know, independent. When 2 good cards work together, oh boy, fetch lands that are in a 6. Wowie, wowie. They gonna cast that? Yeah, Bubble's really, really good, though. They are going to cast that. Okay, so let's get this counter on the, ooh. Yeah, I think I'll just bolt the Aspirant. If they want to dash Ragavan again, that's fine. Obviously, like, if they hit another relevant spell off Ragavan, good beats. If you want to make this Bottle Life Project Currents, what to add Laid on Arms for Bolt? Yeah, we were playing Laid on Arms over Bolt before. I think that's fine. I think Bolt is a little bit better. It's very marginal. I was playing... What was I playing before Ragavan? I was playing Thalia over Ragavan. It was a little bit different. I was also playing Prismatic Ending. So, like, maybe you play Prismatic Ending over Lay Down Arms because it works really well with Thalia. But it would be fine at mono white. It would be totally fine. Good to hear you build a modern deck, Michael. So don't cast the Ragavan. I think I'm just going to play Giver Aspirant, especially with no Shredder in play. Being able to double spell is kind of nice. If they counterspell Aspirant, we get to draw cards, so we're not, you know, really upset or anything. Do you still think Manamorphose is right in Prowess? Yes, I will never play Prowess without 4 Manamorphose in the deck. Is my current opinion. I wrote an article kind of going a bit more deep into my thoughts, but you know, just to summarize again, I guess, is that I'm of the opinion that with 4 Expressive Iterations and 3 Underworld Breach and the Surveils from DRC, you have a really, really good late game in, like, the current builds of Prowess. So they did let me draw a card. Okay, I know they have a Ragavan in their hand, so I'm going to go ahead and put a counter on this Giver so I can just 2-3 block the 2-1. I think you have a really, really good late game without the Light of the Stages. Light of the Stage is... Playing 4 Light of the Stage makes you only play 2 Underworld Breach because Underworld Breach is a really bad hit off of Light of the Stage in the early game. I like to play 3 Breaches because it gives you such a huge degree of inevitability in the late game. So that's another element of why I like to play... I'm kind of repeating myself, but like to play 3 Breaches. Manamorphose is sick. The card is really, really good in the shell, and I'm not particularly interested in cutting it. I guess I'm pitching a Recommission. I think it's actually kind of close between keeping a Recommission here, but I'm gonna get back to Sentinel. Sentinel with a +1 counter on it is, of course, and a Giver of Runes in play. You can't really ask for any more than this. Yeah. People are just playing Light of the Stage over Manamorphose and Prowess, and they're playing 4 Iteration, 4 Light of the Stage, 2 Breach. And I am very, very heavily in the 4 Manamorphose in every Prowess list ever camp. I think Lurrus would see a little bit of play with no companion mechanic. I wouldn't see that much though. So I'm gonna bolt my Giver. Retain priority, 29 months ago, thank you. I kind of like second counter on Giver to protect it from Bolt. Okay, so I think this turn I'm going to get a Giant Killer. Cash Register, 10 months ago, thank you. And then why don't we go ahead and put a counter on this Ranger-Captain, and I can still protect the Sentinel for Bolt with the Idyllic Grange. Andy, 20 months, thank you. Another Ranger-Captain's nice, although I think I'm gonna try to just play one spell this turn. I think recommissioning an Aspirant seems very good here. Might just get, they'll likely just have to give me another card. This Sentinel has drawn me like 5 cards this game or something. I did have to recommission it, but that is part of the strength of the deck. Okay, so I'm gonna go play Esper Sentinel here. And I think I'm going to put my Aspirant counter on this Sentinel. Just if they want to cast a non-creature spell, they have to give me 2 cards. Yeah, we have a Heliod Ballista combo here. I sided out the Heliods against Murktide. This has been a really, I think, successful sideboard plan for me so far. Okay, so a +1 counter on this Sentinel would make my opponent unable to pay for this one, but I think if they just tap out here, I'm actually fine with that. Yeah, they agree. Okay, then iteration. Exile Snow-Covered Island. Play Snow-Covered Island, cast Consider. So this is a 3/5, 2/4. Okay. I can go put a counter on Esper Sentinel here. Guess I can't. With the Ragavan being able to chomp, I can't really lethal them. Okay, so I can put 3 counters on things. Counter on the Sentinel, make it a 3/3, probably. Or no, I should make the Aspirant a 2/2. And then I can go, if they block the Shredder on the Aspirant, I can go 2 counters on the Shredder, on the Aspirant to kill it. Attack with everything. I'm at 8. I can go Ranger-Captain for like Forge-Tender or something. Post-combat, that seems correct. I've been so impressed with Aspirant in this deck too. They had to nerf it in Alchemy. So strong. Okay, I think I would rather at this point, I'm just so ahead. I think I would rather just kill this second Shredder than I would save my Aspirant here. And then I think Ranger-Captain for Forge-Tender is correct, and then maybe I'll also just play Giant Killer, so I could just tap a blocker next turn. They unnerfed it huge. They discard a Lightning Bolt. Interesting. I don't think I'm sacking a Ranger-Captain. I could sack a Ranger-Captain. They're super dead. Yeah, I think they really just need another iteration to get out of this. I don't usually sack Ranger-Captain very aggressively against Heliod, or against Murktide. But touching why Thalia was a cuttable card, was it just because you moved away from Prismatic Ending? Like, this is... okay, I think people hear this, and then they, like, kind of go, roll their eyes and go, oh, of course, but... Ragavan is much better than Thalia in this deck, and that's not because... That's not really because it's just Ragavan 5-head. Ragavan is insane in this deck. With Luminarch Aspirant, with Giver of Runes, with all the removal spells, with Idyllic Grange. This is a really, really good Ragavan deck. In fact, I think that Ragavan may be better in this shell than any other shell I've ever played him in. Okay, hold on. I think that my Sanctifier turns off Delirium here. But it gives me the GGs, though. tap this, block here, die. And so it's like Ragavan's a lot, and also like you want to splash red, I think, anyways for Blood Moon and Wear Tear in the sideboard. The splash is super easy to do because you're already playing so many fetch lands. Oh, they didn't turn it off. Sorry, they still have 4 types. The splash is really easy to do. I guess I was supposed to play my land first, so I can't really have anything though. And Ragavan is better than Thalia, and so it's like when you just kind of when you look at the threats in the deck, Aspirant is really important. Recommission is really, really good in the shell. Sentinel Giver, Ragavan are all better than Thalia. Ranger-Captain, Ballista, Solitude are all too important, and so it's just like there's not room. And this is something that can be difficult for players sometimes. I found especially lately as like the modern card pool expands, when you're looking at archetypes, there are cards that are good in the decks, there are cards that are playable in decks, but they just aren't the best option, and so you have to sometimes move away from them. Is Recommission good? Okay, so in Recommission is a pretty innocuous card, I understand. In the Elementals deck, the biggest part of it, the +1 counter is really, really relevant for Thunderkin Awakener. That is a big part of it. But honestly, just like it being white is a really important thing too. So you can play Ephemerate, Recommission, all white lands, and not have to splash black and make your mana really bad for Unearth. In this deck, the +1 counter on Recommission is incredible. It's really good to Recommission, counter on Ragavan, counter on Esper Sentinel. Those are just amazing. It also lets you rebuy Ballista. Lets you rebuy Ballista with a counter on it, which is not something any other reanimation effects can really do. Buying back Ranger-Captain is really, really strong. Oh no, don't Enchantress me. Enchantress. Yeah, I think this deck is great. I think this deck is really, really good. It's been performing super well for me. We may be cold to Enchantress. Should I play Recommission over Unearth and Esper Death Shadow? Probably not. In that deck, Esper Shadow is all about mana efficiency. Could Recommission go in Scales? Maybe. I don't think it would be. It would be okay. It would definitely be okay there, but I don't know. Scales lists are like somewhat tight. It might be worth testing. So against Enchantress, I have 3 Wear Tear, which I guess is probably enough. I'm going to get the Aspirant and try to get aggressive here, though. We lost a Hammer round 1. We had like a mana flood into Mulligan situation. So maybe I'm supposed to Ranger-Captain for Ragavan or Ballista here. Ballista is pretty sick with the Luminarch Aspirant. Ragavan is also just kind of good. I'll get the Ballista, I think. Yeah, I think that Patchwork is replaceable in Scales. It's fine, but like I could see playing like not 4 Recommission, but like 2 and cutting there. You haven't even comboed yet? I know. So this is something that was last time we played the deck too. We were 12-3. If you guys remember Splinter Twin, you would win more games without the Splinter Twin combo than you would win with it. And I think that kind of sentiment is maybe even exacerbated here to some extent, but just because we're not comboing does not mean that the combo is not worth it. Like the combo is like large. How much damage do we have? We have 7 plus 2 plus. We have exactly 12. I think I'd rather put the counter on the Ballista. Not that it matters much. The presence of the combo, the presence of the Heliod combo puts a lot of pressure on your opponents when they're sideboard and the way they play. It is something that they always have to be respecting, and it's a way for you to race opposing combo decks, and it's a way for you to get out of games that you couldn't win otherwise. But that is also like very intentionally like how also bolt over lay down arms. That is very intentionally how we've built the deck too, where this deck is just all good cards, and then you have 4 copies of Heliod in the deck to win. or to combo with. And Heliod is also sometimes a game piece, not that often. So it's all this build is similar to Underworld Breach combo in that sense. That's probably where the similarities end. But Breach combo is just a deck of all good modern cards, and then you have 3 copies of Grinding Station. And so like Heliod is more of a game piece than Grinding Station is, not by a ton. But I think it's the same philosophy. Alright, I think I'm just in 3 Wear Tear, out 3 Recommission. Yeah, I Idyllic Grange the Ballista for the extra counter. And the Aspirant, the other one. I think this is what we're doing here. Breach has 2 mana unplayables that require the graveyard. Breach is not unplayable. Breach is just a good card without Grinding Station in their deck. Grinding Station is unplayable though, you know, without the Breach. One lander. This one lander does have a Wear Tear. I'm gonna go to 5 though. Cool. Okay, we have the combo this game. Right, kind of easy putbacks, I guess. Yeah, I'm caught up on Chainsaw Man. Honestly, my recommendation to everybody who hasn't started Chainsaw Man is to wait until it's like till the season is done, because the show would be so much better to like binge watch than to like watch week by week. But it is really good. Confounding Conundrum is really bad. It's a trap. Don't ever register that card. I think I just need Ragavan to, again, be making mana instead of taking mana. I've been watching it on Hulu. Land will be really good. No such luck. I don't think the dub is out yet. No, I never watched Boruto. I have like no interest in Boruto. I was a longtime Naruto fan. Not for me. Not for me. Oh, look, I didn't know the dub was there. Cool. Leyline Binding, huh? The NFL? What anime is that? Guess I'm not playing snow-covered basics. Probably gonna lose. I have game 3 into play. They have confinement, presence. I mean, if their hand is literally all lands, you don't get to trigger Ragavan through solitary confinement. My opponent's roasted me about the snow-covered lands. I think Holiday Q goes up this afternoon. I could be misremembering. Morning Dragon Lord. How much better is the red-white version than mono-white? I love the deck of Ragavan money. I think it's like... So it's not just Ragavan, right? The Blood Moons and Wear Tears on the sideboard are really good. But I do think if you go Lay Down Arms over Lightning Bolt, and you go... Okay, we're never beating that. Well, I guess we can have one more chant in their hand. If you go Lay Down Arms over Lightning Bolt and you go or Prismatic Ending, I think either would be fine. And then you play Thalia over Ragavan. I think that would be okay. Okay, let's go to game 3. Yeah, then splash green for Back to Nature. Oh boy. Yeah, they do run Giganta. At least they had a game 1. Bloodmoon probably gets its around Leyline. They have. It's really easy for them to just have, like, Bloodmoon will usually make Leyline Binding cost 3 mana and not really do anything else. It's just not that hard for them to get a bunch of basics. Ah, this hand's so good if we just have on a red source over like one of the 3 drops. I do believe though firmly that losses to enchanters don't really count. They play a lot of basics, and I mean, okay, if they're going Breeding Pool, Utopia Sprawl, now I wish I had Blood Moon in my deck. It's not that common. Like, enchanters will often play Blood Moon themselves, you know? Other enchantments have Shroud. Well, I guess that's fine since I don't have any Wear Tears in my hand. This would be a good matchup to be playing a Haywire Might in. Go, Aspirant, go. Any plans or updates on playing the White Power Conduit deck? So every time I start to work on that deck, I end up going in really deep, and I'm playing. I'm all over the place with like the options, and I have really like just left most of my brewing sessions with that deck, feeling like I'm not playing the best version I could be. What if we have any relevant enchantments we could hit with Ragavan? Yeah, no, I think I have to Ranger-Captain them this turn. I think I have to go counter on the Aspirant, attack for 7. Ranger-Captain, get Ballista. Which is to recon with Fiddlebender. I just think that like you don't want to be playing Fiddlebender in the mono white shell. Okay, so yeah, so like I keep getting really lost in the sauce. I think the version of the mono white power conduit deck we had was really good, and I liked it a lot, and there wasn't like a ton I wanted to change. And so like I have some like really deep versions that need a lot of testing and need a lot of work. That are like maybe just like not as good as the version we had previously, and it is something I want to return to. It is something I plan to return to, but it's just not ready yet. Okay. So presumably we get to force a chump block and just, you know, triple Ranger-Captain them. Have we ever seen a 5-color enchantment deck use binding? My opponent's playing binding, so like it's pretty common to like play 4 bindings main in Enchantress, and then like also play 1 Blood Moon as a tutor target, and then like side out bindings when you want Blood Moon, and then like sometimes you Blood Moon your opponent and your bindings just cost 3 mana also, and that's okay. Karn the Great is broken. Is Tron the best way to play him? Karn is not broken in Modern. It's a fine card. But yeah, you do need to play Karn in big mana decks. So, Tron, Coffers, Devotion. You can play it in Titan, but you can't really play it just like... You can play it in like Ponza or like Arbor off Utopia Sprawl deck. So the double chump block being forced here is really nice. I also have lethal with ballistas because I can go 1/1 ballista, Idyllic Grange ballista, Aspirant ballista, then second 1/1 ballista here. This doesn't give them Shroud, does it? Yeah, no. That'd be way too good. Yeah, this is definitely a funny game. Could we not just make a 2/2 Ballista? No, because if you make a 2/2 Ballista, then you can't put this Idyllic Grange counter on that 2/2 Ballista. It's really hard to mulligan double Esper Sentinel on the draw here. It's just... We're a 23 land deck, we're on the draw, we have early Sentinel, we have 4 castable spells, we keep... Wasn't that kind of BM with lethal already hand? It's not BM, my opponent has like 6 mana available. You just like... When your opponent has 6 mana available, 5 cards in hand, it's not a BM to make them you know, do nothing first. Okay, we drew a land, is the good news. The bad news is we're up against Oops All Spells, probably. Which is going to be very hard to beat game 1. And then in sideboard games, also hard to beat, we have Sanctifier and en-Vec, which subs their Salvage Titan. We have Wear Tears, we have Blood Moon. It's going to be tough. Any new Titania deck ideas? So I saw Fran 5-0 with like a Knight of the Reliquary Titania deck that I thought looked okay. And I didn't really have any ideas on how to improve that build, so I'm sad to say I may be off of it for a little while. We'll see. Okay, no window to Solitude this before they activate it. 3 Creeping Chills, draining me down to 9. Then down to 8. Yeah, I think I'm getting Exaxised here. Because I can Solitude a Vengevine, and then I can block a Vengevine. But then I take exactly 8. Jace vs. Karn is like arguing whether Scapeshifter or Collected Company are better. Probably disagree. Yeah, it is true they don't go in different decks, but like the fact that Karn is colorless is also like a really big buff to Karn. It makes like being colorless instead of blue too is a strength to Karn. And so like the fact that like Karn can go in so many, I mean it does really only go in big mana shells, I guess, but Jace also only goes in control shells. 1, 2, 3, 4 Vengevines. Okay, let's go to game 2. Could have fetch shocked and bolted. If I fetch shock and bolt, I'm taking 3 damage. I guess yeah, you're right. I go to 1. They're just very different cards beyond the superficial, so maybe in the same card type and CMC. Yeah, I don't think that like you're not wrong about that, but Karn is also better than Jace. You know, they are very different, but I don't even think it's like even a conversation. Like which card is more powerful and more impactful. Fetch Plains on a bolt, yeah. I mean that plays around them having like a creeping chill in hand, but I guess that's fine. But we also did the Oracle next turn too. All right, so the Sanctifier doesn't do a ton. It does stop them from it does stop them from Vengevining because it exiles their. I guess if the Salvage Titan is in their hand, it doesn't. But then they're going to be able to Thoracle the following turn. All right, gonna look at this. This hand has Heliod Ballista on the play. Turn 4, potential kill. We draw any land because we have to keep. Jace is better than Pioneer than Karn if it were printed. I think that's like actually definitely not true. Like one, if Jace is legal in Pioneer, Pioneer is a format without fetch lands. A format without fetch lands, Jace is much worse, and Karn is a Pioneer superstar. Karn is a Pioneer superstar. Pioneer is also a format with Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time, and I would think that a lot of blue decks would choose to play Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time over Jace. Karn is also like restricted in Vintage, is good in Legacy too. It's like better in Legacy than Jace is too right now. Am I supposed to play the Ballista on 1 here? Ballista on 1, Heliod next turn. Yeah, I think I am. Oh, no. Sorry, I'm supposed to hold up Wear Tear. I'm not so sure on that. Yeah, we could just disagree. We could just disagree, but I like Jace is better in Modern, Legacy, Vintage. I think would be better in Pioneer. Is not a conversation really because it's not legal in Pioneer. I would say in Standard, Jace would be better than Karn, but I also think it's really easy to like rate Jace higher than you should because in a format without fetches. But in a format without fetches, Jace is much weaker. Still a good card and would be a good card in Pioneer, but it's not the same card. All right, Idyllic Grange or Fetch Land, which is we have a lot of those in the deck. No such luck, unfortunately. We could have won this turn if we had played Ballista on turn 2. I think holding up Wear Tear makes a lot more sense, but yeah, I agree. I agree that they're different cards. We could move on. What's up with Teamer Saga? People are just addicted to grindy Teamer decks. Deck's fine though. They didn't play an artifact, so if they have a Sword of the Meek in their hand, they lose. 1, 2. Oh, there's a third one up there. What happens if I kill both Narc Amoebas? It doesn't counter this. Yeah, it doesn't counter the Sword ETB. Tough game, tough game. Just need to draw land. Okay, 3-2 that league. Weird league playing against Oops All Spells and Enchantress. I'm going to run it back.